we're going to unpack the hidden link between extreme kindness and self-hatred.
Okay, let's dive into this. Picture the scene. It's 1 a.m., your phone buzzes. A friend is in crisis. So, what do? You drop absolutely everything. You soothe them, you pour out this endless energy, but the second you hang up, you're just lying awake in the dark feeling completely empty, or worse, feeling fundamentally broken. Listen, if this is you, I want to validate that right now. This is the hallmark of a very specific pattern we're going to untangle today.
Now, we usually think of extreme kindness and self-hatred as, completely separate things, like they couldn't possibly live in the same body. But psychological insights tell a totally different story. They're actually the exact same mechanism, just wearing two different masks. The intense care you show the world and that harshness you aim inward, they're fueled by the exact same engine. To understand why, we have to look back. This pattern almost always roots itself in childhood environments where love felt conditional. You learned this lingering, heavy lesson early on. Love is something that has to be earned. So what happens? You become indispensable. You constantly give because giving feels infinitely safer than ever actually needing anything yourself. By the time you reach adulthood, giving isn't even a choice anymore. It's a compulsion. It's how you secure your place in every relationship.
Clinically, we call the engine behind this a negative self-schema. That's really just a fancy way of describing a deep-seated cognitive framework where you truly believe you are fundamentally flawed, undeserving, or just less than. But here is the wild twist. Believing you're flawed actually turns the dial way up on your warmth toward others. Because if you secretly feel unworthy, the only acceptable way to prove you matter is to make everyone else's life better.
So you effectively become the emotional infrastructure for everyone around you. You're the one remembering birthdays, constantly checking in, noticing the tiniest shift in someone's tone of voice. But quietly, in the background, you're using every single act of kindness to prove your own value. It's like an internal accounting system. And when all that effort goes unnoticed, your internal balance sheet just plummets right back into that familiar feeling of worthlessness.
Now, research tells us that giving makes us feel good. We've all heard that. And this brilliantly illustrates a massive nuance we almost always miss. We rarely talk about the motivation behind the giving. See, giving from a place of security, that's an open hand. But giving from scarcity, from a place of deficit, that is a transaction. It's a transaction you enter into desperately hoping the other person won't notice how much you need their validation. Have you ever wondered why people with really low self-worth are such exceptional listeners? It's because they become extraordinarily attuned to other people. Reading a room, sensing mood shifts, anticipating needs way before they're even asked. We like to call that emotional intelligence. But let's be real. Originally, for the Midnight Helper, those were survival skills. You became a literal expert at managing other people's emotions just to feel safe in your own environment.
And the tricky part is, this self-hate operates completely underground. It rarely announces itself. Instead, it shows up as an absolute inability to receive a compliment, or squirming with discomfort when someone tries to help you, or this lingering, terrifying fear that if people saw the real you, they'd run for the hills. And society totally complicates this by constantly praising your selflessness. It makes you think you're just being noble, which, honestly, just locks the cycle right in place. So I want you to ask yourself right now, when do you feel most deserving of love? Just think about it for a second. If you struggle with this pattern, your answer is almost certainly when I've been helpful or when I fixed a problem. It is almost never, ever just because I exist. And that tiny distinction, that literally changes everything. Living like this creates this deep, unnamed grief. It's the incredibly heavy weight of carrying emotional baggage that was never yours to begin with. You're essentially an adult in a child's body who has suppressed your own needs so thoroughly for so long that you literally can't locate them anymore. If someone actually pushes you and says, "Hey, what do you need?" your nervous system goes into full-blown panic mode.
But listen, if you recognize yourself in this, I want to be super clear. Your kindness is not just pure dysfunction. The warmth and the love you give the world, that is wonderfully, undeniably real. But here is the absolute truth. You deserve to give that exact same quality of care to yourself, not as some grueling self-improvement project, but simply because you are a person, because you exist.
Let's move to how we actually build this out to actionable change. Because recovery here is a slow, non-linear, and frankly uncomfortable shift. First, just start by letting yourself receive care. Offer a simple thank you to a compliment instead of immediately deflecting it. Next, you have to practice setting healthy boundaries, especially when people demand your constant emotional availability. Try saying something like, "I really want to support you, but I just don't have the emotional capacity tonight." And then, sit with the feeling of being selfish that follows. It's going to feel awful at first, but over time, sitting in that discomfort is exactly what forces that negative voice to lose its grip.
Recognizing this pattern today, that is a massive first step toward breaking it. So I want to leave you with this final thought to carry with you. You do not have to earn your place in your own story. You are already in it. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope you take that first, tiny step toward letting yourself receive some care today.